All right, Scott Joseph here. I am with two experts. One, a retail and profit expert in Rob Ruth, and we'll get to his story in a second. And the man needs no introduction here, the Solutionist. All right, Sandy Cerami.
Yeah, I don't know about what you're just saying about this, but.
All right, we are at J&L Marketing booth 3266C. So if you're at NADA, come by and see us. We're going to have a quick discussion, State of the Union type stuff. But if anybody's been out to Pennsylvania, you're not in a big market.
No, relatively small market.
How many cars are you selling a month?
We're going to sell 350.
There's not a dealer in the world that would drive by your store and ever guess that you're putting out 350 a month.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
Well, what's the secret to your success?
Just not believing that you can do it. That's the secret. You got to believe in yourself, and you got to believe in what you're doing.
Confidence game, right?
Yeah, I mean, people will say, just like you said, that drives me. I want people to say, "Oh, well, he'll never do this or won't do that."
Right.
That
so I'm
gets you to another level.
You know, I know that you work a lot and you believe in a lot of the 10X stuff with Grant.
Yep.
And so I did a podcast with him. All right, and I think at the time you were trying to do some type of new sales goal. It might have been 340, 350, 360. I can't remember what the number was.
You told him what we sold,
And I said, hey, he's shooting for this month. They just sold this, and now he's shooting for this. And he goes, well, why isn't he shooting for 400?
Right. He said the right thing.
But that's your mentality.
Yeah.
You know.
I relate with him well because the stuff he says, it's just like that. Yes.
Yeah.
I just relate with him.
So, talk to us. We did the podcast. And I found it interesting during the recession. You put your foot down on the gas on that. You didn't peel back. You were hiring and looking. Walk us through that because I think it goes to the mindset you just described.
Well, I think you have to see it as an opportunity. If everybody's pulling back, that's your opportunity to strike.
Yeah.
You know, it's business.
Yeah.
So if everyone's going backwards, there's your path.
Yeah, and you get a chance.
To be confident in yourself.
You can exponentially increase your share of voice in the marketplace, increase your share of market, because everybody else, as you said, is pulling back, and you're diving in. You want to swallow.
You got to spend money. You got to market yourself. You got to market your company.
Right.
I was never afraid to do that, and then you have to have the processes in place that once you get them there.
I wanted to get you two together mainly because he's an expert when it comes to culture. All right.
Killer culture.
Yeah. When you
they have it, by the way.
That's what I mean, and that's why I wanted you guys talking about what makes that work, because when you walk into his store, you feel it. Mm-hmm. It's not a normal feeling. All right, I've walked into a lot of stores.
He said something before about he knows when he walks into his store whether it's the energy is right or the energy isn't right, and that's because great leaders are like human thermostats. They can feel when the temperature isn't right, and they know how to turn it up or turn it down, right?
Yeah, and sometimes you even have to look at yourself. Oh, what's going on here? And then it's like, well, what's my energy like today?
Right.
What's my attitude like? Then it's
that's accountability.
Accountability to yourself.
Love that. Accountability at the tippy top of your organization. It starts with you.
You have to. If you want accountability, you have to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say you walk in, and it's one of the rare days. You can tell it's just not clicking. Something's off. It's in your gut. What do you do?
Figure out what it is.
How?
Ask questions.
Bingo.
Yeah. You ask questions.
Bingo.
Get data. Do your reconnaissance. You gotta figure it out.
And
you gotta fix it.
I would assume they've got enough faith in you because they trust you that they're going to give you the truth when you ask them a question.
Most of the time.
Yeah,
most of the time. I mean, we're like any other organization. We go through our ups and downs and stuff, but we work on it and we work through it. And I think that does set us apart.
So
you got to work through your issues.
You guys talk about, all right, so that's how you handle it. How did you get it to where it's at? What did you do? It didn't just happen, all right? So I don't believe in trying to falsely manufacture a culture, right? I believe that it comes from good leadership and it grows almost organically, right?
It does.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, but what did you do to create this level of
20
attitude?
years. 20 years. It's nothing that does happen overnight, too. So I think a lot of people can relate with me because I'm there with them. They've seen my journey and what I've done, and what my father's done, and we were always very hands-on. We're always there. I'm not afraid to go in on a TO. I'm not, if they need me, I'm there.
Right.
And I'm approachable, and I want to keep myself at a low level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
Did you take any time throughout your career early on to go and see other dealership organizations?
Never.
Okay, that's
I
interesting.
don't have any
So this is
experience
truly-
with
it's
any.
really organic.
Yeah, I have no experience with any other dealership,
No.
other than my friends and just talking to them and their experiences.
where do you get your ideas then?
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere.
We talked about that.
Yeah,
That's
everywhere.
Scott, that is
Everything's
Scott Josephism
relatable
right
to
there.
what you do.
Yeah.
You can learn things today anywhere, and how can you apply it to what you do?
I love that. Why don't you guys talk real quick about, because you're going in and trying to either fix or improve cultures.
Yeah.
I'd love for you guys to kind of talk and let's see what you teach and the
I
similarities
have a
that
question
are
for you.
already happening here.
Yeah, I have
you
a
know?
question for him because like when I go into a lot of different rooftops, right? So we can identify good culture and bad culture, and every organization you can have either or. Usually it's nowhere in between. Okay, those are really dead environments, so you have to actually have a completely different approach. But the first question I usually ask of the leadership in a dealership that I go into is, what are the 2 or 3 words that you want people to say about an experience in your dealership? Like, give me the 2 or 3 words. That helps me identify what the organizational values are, the earmarks of what their culture is all about. And usually if it's a great killer culture, everybody knows exactly what those 2 or 3 words are.
What are those 2 or 3 things you would want people to say about yours?
I want them to leave with a good emotional feeling. Like they left there and it's like, okay, we're developing trust, and
Right.
this was a good thing that I
Right.
used to do.
Positive
It's a very
trust.
Positive experience. No matter, we don't have the shiny showroom. We don't have, and that's not what's going to make you win. If you make people feel good and they believe what they did was the right thing, that's what we're trying to win-win.
100%. It's not a
It's a
zero-sum
win-win
game.
for everybody. That's
I
what
love
we
that.
want to try to get to.
Yeah, not a zero-sum game where
The customer
because we
needs
sold
to
you the
win,
vehicle.
the salesperson needs to win, and the dealership needs to win. I
Right.
think when you can create, situations like that, we'll continue to move
The
forward.
thing I noticed about your store, it's almost like, without even talking to them, you can tell, at least the people that I met out there, I mean, they'd run through walls for the store.
That's leadership.
I mean, they'll run through, and
Most
it's a
days.
very
Most
family
absolutely.
feeling, very
Yeah.
close
See, he's
knit.
humble because I'm saying it's leadership, and he's like
He is.
kind of, he doesn't want to take the credit for it, but that's the truth. Leadership is
I'm
influence.
working on it. Yeah,
I know,
right.
but
Yeah.
to be able to accept that compliment, because it is the highest praise that we can give somebody, is that you're an exceptional leader, and people follow leaders because they're positively influenced by
I
them.
want my people to win.
Yeah.
I want them to win. I want them to be successful.
And they
The
feel
company, if they're successful, the company's going to be successful.
And you have fun with it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So you're constantly on your story with your people.
Yeah, we have a
You
good time.
you can tell the store's having fun.
George from Ford, I got to give him a shout
Yeah,
out
right.
because I see him
George
all the
from
time.
Ford.
Yeah.
Mr. Brandon Parker. We got a whole Joe True, Steve Hartle. I mean,
Yeah.
We got good people.
Shout them all out because they
Yeah.
deserve it.
They
'Cause
do.
as I said to you,
Yeah.
when I look at your content on Instagram specifically, and I said this to Scott and Zach, is that I can feel the energy, jumping off the screen when I'm looking at my phone. I love that about your organization, and it comes through in all the social media that they put out there.
We got a lot of great people,
Yeah.
and I think as you are successful, and you are helping people succeed, you're attracting more people that want that.
Bingo.
And you multiply it.
So
We have a lot of room for growth,
just
so
so
I don't
you
want to
know-
oversell myself or anything either.
I also get that, but the
Yeah.
truth is it's like flypaper, right? Because once folks do find their way to your organization, if they share the same values that you do and that your leadership team does, it's much easier for them to identify with a company and feel good about that career decision when they have that versus, you don't put a high priority on getting them assimilated into your organization the right way. That's flypaper in my book. That's what keeps people around.
So what do you say to the dealers that are watching this and they're like, that's all great and fine, but I've been working on culture, and let's face it, that's probably their own fault, but they're struggling with it. How do they get over that hump or get the ball rolling? What's the first step they have to take to make it right, or get it to going in the in the
the
right
dealer
direction?
needs to, they got to look at what they're asking their people to do, and are they willing to do it themselves? And if they're not, then they need to ask themselves different questions. I think
Sure.
if you ask yourself the right questions and you lead by example, I think you can create a culture.
Yeah.
And we're always working on it.
You know, it's funny, we've all walked around the expo floor here over the course of the last day and a half, and there is no shortage of technology products, no shortage of the latest and greatest, right? And one of the things that I always come back to in my own mind is that the thing that makes great organizations great is the people, right? The investment that we make in the people should be paramount. It should be the number one priority for us as dealer principals or as leaders in our organizations, that people have to be where we put the biggest investment. We get the great piece of technology that comes in and nobody buys into it. We just bought ourselves maybe a $30,000 paperweight, $50,000
Bought yourself
paperweight.
a lot of time and effort.
I think you can push people hard, push them the right way, push them for themselves. You know, find out what they want in life, find out what their goals are, and push them to them.
Yeah.
But you got to
Winning
know what
is
it
scalable,
is.
isn't it?
You
Winning
got to
is
know what
scalable.
it is.
But he talked about it before. We want people to win. Winning is scalable when you
100%.
identify those folks.
All right, so you don't build a culture the way you've done it without hiring the right people. So, and if you, I mean, listen, there's not a dealer in this whole.
Hired the wrong people.
Correct.
Too, so
I've never met a great hirer. However, you have to be doing something.
That's right.
Yeah.
None of us are good at that.
No,
you
we
know?
all stink. We've all made major
And there was
mistakes.
probably 10 different companies here right now
Yeah, right.
that are going to help you do it better.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's
So
nothing like the gut.
I think you got to always be recruiting too.
Yes.
And you know, when you are winning,
that's where I'm asking. So,
yeah,
what's your like?
recruiting? When you're winning, people are attracted to you. That's you're going to get the right hires. You're going to get people that want that, not the ones that are, you know, complacent.
Just looking to get a check.
Just trying to, you know, show up for the job. You want people that want to win. I want people that want my job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
right?
I want people that want my job.
Hungry.
Yeah.
People that are hungry.
I want
Those folks that are
hungry people.
hungry and at high noon.
Right.
To your point, if you're not out in the marketplace 365 days a year, then you are missing opportunities to get great people into your organization, because very often it's when they're at high noon that they've got to make a decision, whether it's a change in compensation, a change in leadership in their organization, maybe they've just moved geographically, they've changed locations. You've got to catch them when they're at high noon and they're ready to make a decision about their career, and if you're not out there and giving them something that's attractive to catch their eye or catch their attention, you miss on them.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got to be ready for them
Something else
100%
that's
of the
helped
time.
us too is being more transparent on where the company's going and what our direction is. Even the numbers. I think as dealers, we for years were just taught to just hide everything, and just it doesn't make sense. You know, we need to be more transparent with our people. We need to show them the direction that we're going. We need to open things up that they're a part of it instead of just, hey, go do this. This is your job. You know, so
They understand
that
the
is
why
a different
behind it
culture.
a
The
little bit
why.
more. Yeah.
You know?
I think the transparency actually invites them into being part of something bigger than just themselves. I think it creates career pathing opportunities. So often we'll bring somebody into the organization and they feel like it's a dead end opportunity. Like this is as good as it's going to get for you.
That's our responsibility to have a career path.
Absolutely.
For them.
Absolutely.
Because good people will leave if they don't see it.
And I don't know if the auto industry as a whole does a great job.
No, we're
I
terrible.
do. We don't. I
We
mean,
don't.
it's true.
We don't
do a
have
great
leadership training for us, and that's what we need. You know,
Some
that's
things
what
that
I
we-
work on for myself. How do I become a
That
better
is
leader?
evident, brother.
Well,
I mean, that
you
is
know,
plainly evident. Like you
know,
see
I can
that.
continue to get better. You know, and I'm not
Every one
perfect.
of us.
You know,
Right? Everyone constantly
Well,
improving. Right?
all right. You invest a lot of time in improving your own.
I have. I spent more in training last year than I did
my
probably
man, I love
in
you, right?
Do you mind
30
telling people how much? You don't have to if you don't
hundreds
want
of thousands of dollars.
Say that louder, man. Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands in training. I spent more in training in 1 year than I did 36 years our company did before that.
And there's a
What's
lot
it
of
done
dealers-
for you?
It's done. I mean, you see it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, my point.
And to me, it's just recognizing that I need training too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if
Well,
I
you're
recognize
participating in it, correct?
Correct.
All right, so there is such a key piece of the puzzle right there in getting people to buy into training and development in your
that,
organization.
personal development.
When you're involved as well, when they see that it's that important, that Rob Ruth is involved and he's actually participating in a meaningful way, everybody else tends to buy in.
Yep.
Certainly the level below you, the leadership in your organization buys in immediately, and it's trickle-down effect, right? It influences the behavior of
It
everybody
does.
in the
100%.
organization. Yeah. That's exciting stuff.
That's a game changer for me.
It really is.
Yep.
And would you say that a lot of times dealers will not make that investment because they look at it more as an expense issue versus something they can create a return on investment with?
They won't make the investment because they don't know how to get them to do it and hold them accountable.
Well, we just told them.
Correct.
Get involved.
Yeah,
Be part
right.
of it, right? And
Yeah.
most dealers
And I
out
was there.
They're
That
not
was
always
where
willing
I-
to do that either.
But there's
I
a
asked
reason
my
why.
people if they wanted training, and they told me they did. and they bought it. I let them make the decision.
Wow.
Okay, because even with Cardone, they came to me and they had the full court pressing. I said, I'm not making the decision. You sell them, you close them,
Right.
I'm in. And
That's a good idea.
that's my leverage too, you know? Because if you
That's-
said you want this, you said you want to get better, you said you want to make more money, you want to do all these things, that's what I use to push them.
That's a great lesson for everybody out there that's watching.
I agree.
It's empowerment, but it's empowerment with accountability. In other words, I'm going to empower you to make the decision. I'm going to make the financial investment. It's up to you to make it work.
Agreed.
All right, now I'm going to hold you accountable
Yeah.
for actually following
Correct.
through.
Yeah, I like that.
I can have that conversation easy when it was their decision and they've opened up that they want it.
What made you think to do that?
I don't know. It was a good thought. It's
Gut
just
instinct.
it was a good lesson.
Yeah.
Do you trust your gut as a leader
I
at this
do.
point more so
Yeah.
than you did in the past?
100%.
As you get more experienced and you've
Correct.
been able to make mistakes early on in your career, you
I
start
still
to
make
learn.
mistakes, you know, but
Yeah,
you
no
just you
question.
can't be afraid to make decisions.
Agreed.
You know, you have to continue to move forward. Everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, we
Yeah,
talked about even
decisiveness.
just being on camera here and social media. It's awkward for all of us, but we're just going to do it. You know, this is the way the world's going.
That's right.
Yeah, no doubt. I think decisiveness is a key
Yeah.
Ingredient when you're talking about, you know, moving your company forward.
To
You got to
quote
be
to
decisive.
quote Grant, you know, nobody knows you, nobody flows you.
Yeah. And he's quotable, isn't he?
Yeah, he is
You
quotable.
know. I could think of a couple of quotes from your podcast episode
Oh,
that
he's-
continue to make me
That was
laugh
awesome.
That was
about
a
the
fun
lawyer.
interview.
And I won't get into it now, but
Yeah.
the lawyer is there, and
Yeah.
I still laugh at that one. You know, he's a piece of work. He's somebody that I think all of us watch, and those of us that understand what Grant is really about appreciate the hell out of him because he's blazed the path. Let's be honest. You can't deny the fact that over the last 10 years, that guy blazed the path for everybody else out there that's looking
He's
to
a
gain
leader.
influence.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a leader.
100%.
You know, a lot of people hate on him, but look what he's done.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to do this shit.
No.
You know, he doesn't.
He didn't need to be down here today.
He doesn't need to be down here. The
Nope.
guy's still out here grinding.
Yeah.
To me, that's inspiring.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to be around people like that.
Well, not only is he showing up here grinding, but he's got his 10X next week.
Sure, he's
You
working
would
his
think
ass
he'd be
off.
preparing for that because that's a big
But he is.
production.
In his way, he is preparing, right?
Yeah.
Like you said before, he surrounds himself with a great team of people,
Yeah,
right?
you were
Jared
talking about
deserves a
culture?
shout out.
Oh,
You know
Jared's
what I mean?
amazing.
Yeah.
Now, he's a
Jared's
great leader
phenomenal.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, humble as can be, just a great man.
That's another business you can walk into. You warned me before I went down there for that interview. You said, "I'll wait till you go into there."
infectious.
I was like,
Yep. That's
Incredible,
Zach and I
right?
were
I mean,
talking
that was
about.
just unbelievable. Yeah, Zach, my
Yeah.
son behind the camera here, he was blown away by it. He was so pumped, walking in, walking out. Just, I mean,
You know the cool part about that, though? He said to you, this happens every day here.
It does.
it is every day.
It does.
Every
day.
And that level of consistency.
But they have a lot of discipline.
And
They have a
commitment,
lot
yeah,
of
no
discipline
question.
there.
Yeah.
You know?
Accountability, right? People
Accountability.
are held accountable, right?
And they have a great culture. So it doesn't mean you can't have discipline and a great culture.
Yeah, you're right inside my
You
head
know?
right now because
Yeah.
that culture spits the wrong people out pretty quickly. You know, if you don't get what the values of that organization are, you're going to find yourself out pretty damn quickly. And so that's a great example to point towards. It's something that we all are shooting for and aspiring
Right.
towards.
I
you
would
know?
I would say not having the discipline, not having the accountability actually creates a very weak culture over time.
It does.
It's
and-
not sustainable and it
does.
certainly isn't
No.
scalable.
Everybody wants that.
We all want it.
We
We
all
talk
want
about it.
no
But
accountability.
you
all
gotta
want
do it. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
I can
we
do it
gotta
on
get
my
better
own. I
as-
don't need.
We got to do it in our industry because we have this industry that is kind of, you know, it's broken a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, the perception is so bad. So we got to change. We got to
No
change.
question.
All right, so let's ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this both ways. A lot change, a lot of stuff going on in auto. What worries you? What excites you?
I'm more excited. You know, I think it's an opportunity.
Goes right back to his
I think
mindset.
it's I think it's
He
an
doesn't
opportunity.
worry.
Because I think that all these things that we're talking about are not easy.
Yep.
So I think that, you know, not everybody's going to succeed.
Yeah.
And there's so much noise. And
It's amazing.
there's so much noise. There's so many different do this, do that. You got to be able to like put the blinders on some days and really focus.
As a vendor, I go to a lot of different types of trade shows. So here I'm exhibiting. When I'm an attendee, like you are here, these other this is a very organized show. So I don't want this to come across wrong. But as a dealer, and I walk, it is mind-blowing to me. There's so much overlap in this industry. In marketing it alone, I could do one thing. You could find not one direct competitor to me in this thing, but you can probably find 50 people where we have some type of slight overlap. And you as a dealer have got to sit here and say, if I change this, then it's going to impact this. And it's almost like, because when I do these other shows, I don't walk around the halls with this feeling of like, too many decisions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of there's a lot of potential. I'm sure everybody has great products, but which is the right one?
Correct.
Right.
I think it does come down to relationships, even with vendors, which I've really learned in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The vendors that I can have a good relationship and trust with, that I know that they want to see me succeed,
right back
are
to
the
that.
ones that I want to do business
Because
with.
in the end, it doesn't matter. We've all wasted money on tools that all they do is increase our time and effort, and it doesn't move the needle. So, in the end, you got to have the good working relationship, because what's going to make any program work is just what's kind of how it all.
You got to work together with
Correct.
vendors.
That's
I think
exactly
great
right.
technology today in our business. Great technology helps you leverage people and time.
Yeah.
Right? The two most valuable resources that we have in our organization, great technology will do that, right? The other pieces that are out there that become distractions, we were talking about with Zach earlier, and I said, one of the great things about the products that you guys offer are they're really plug and play. You're not having to retrain, retool, remember a lot. It's just a matter of like getting together, partnering, and making it make sense versus having to actually start all over with
The
something.
one solution that we have that requires more effort and a little training is by far the non-stickiest solution we have. In other words, it's the thing that I've got out of my 5 products that we key in on. 4 just hum like it's another. And the 5th one that requires a little bit more of this is the one that I have trouble with.
Yeah.
And so it's like, the ones that it's easy, like you said, that it's easy, it's turnkey,
That's what you need.
and when there's good just communication back and forth, and everyone's on the same page, like you're saying with the vendors, those are what makes our customers happy.
Let's leave that together with what we were talking about initially, which is when we talk about why aren't dealers making investments in their people? Why aren't they actually getting involved in training on a day in and day out basis and developing themselves? There's a lot of static and noise that's out there. There's a lot of distractions. There's a whole lot of pressure, right? You got pressure coming from the manufacturers, coming from the marketplace, coming from our customers.
Yeah.
100%.
They demand more.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so if the
They demand you to
solutions-
not even be a dealer. In all reality, customers don't want you to be a traditional dealer. They want to buy online or make that very easy. They want access to information the same way they get access to information every. That's correct.
Full transparency.
Yeah, one of the things that we work on a lot when we're going to do sales skill development is we get off of the pitchy, salesy piece of it, right? Because nobody feels comfortable in that kind of an environment. That role is not played well by anybody, whether it's the salesperson or it's the customer. And so what we really push for is for the transparency, to share lots of information with a customer, to take the information that they found online and make sure it's the right information. And then we do 3 things. Help them find the right vehicle, take it for a quick spin, and then help them find the right ownership options so that they can make the best decision possible about their next vehicle versus trying to jam something down their throat.
Well, I think it's better communication between us and the
Absolutely.
customer, and we need to listen to them. If we're not listening to them and we're just putting on a sales pitch, we're not helping them.
I like how you
You
say.
know, and that's where we get better as an industry.
I like how he says ownership options.
Sure.
It's better than.
But you know why we say that? Because nobody likes to pay for shit. They love to own it, but nobody wants to pay for it. So we're talking about ownership options, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense. The words we use, when we talk about the difference between pressure and persuasion in our business when it comes to selling is one thing. It's technique. It's how you do what you do, how you say what you say, when you do what you do, when you say what you say. All that stuff really matters because how it lands in the ears and the hearts of the people that you're actually sitting across from is everything. You said before how we make our people feel, our customers feel, was really key to your culture, right?
100%.
And that's it in a nutshell.
Yep.
Yeah,
That goes right back to your culture. It's a circle. The better your people are, the better they are, and the
Take
culture
care of your
is.
people. Take care of
And
your
they're
people.
going to do a better job with the customer, and then it just keeps growing.
It's like flypaper. Nobody
It's
wants
a
to leave.
relationship. We have to have a good relationship with our employees to have that good relationship with the end consumer.
Yeah. No
Because
question.
they're the ones speaking for us.
Yeah,
And we have to take responsibility for whatever they do.
When I
So
originally,
we better train them.
Yeah.
You know?
When I went
You
to
know?
interview you originally, I had a very clear vision as to what I wanted to talk about. And then, but we got sidetracked and we started talking about culture, right? And then he's coming up a couple interviews later. I'm like, these people are talking culture. That must be a key thing.
It's something you can always improve too.
And there's so many
Something you
different
can
ways
always
to look at it.
improve.
Right?
Yeah.
There's so many great tools and resources out there. The amazing thing for me is I don't see nearly enough people in our business reading or listening to audio programs or watching videos to help educate them, inspire them, inform them, influence them in terms of what they really feel is the right thing to do in our business.
Because we've competed with each other, then they just focused on each other for
Yes.
years, and they not opening up their minds to let's not compete with each other. Let's just inspire each other to get better.
Right. Yeah. Well,
You know?
we look at it as that zero-sum game.
Right.
Right. As when we start to take a look at what the used car opportunity is for us in this industry right now.
He crushes that.
Yeah. No. And by the way, let's look at the non-new car dealer used car businesses out there is enormous. It's 3x, 4x on our business. So, they're eating off of the plate that we should be eating off of. We're doing a little bit better job now, but that's a different focus, for us.
You're landlocked. Have you started, or I know you have plans down the line, correct? Has that started yet, or not yet?
I gotta keep selling cars. And I gotta keep doing what I'm doing.
pay for those dreams.
But right
I gotta
now,
pay for it.
Right now,
That's
you're
where I'm at.
landlocked, right?
For the most part,
Yeah. Where do you
My
see
facility
is
there's no prohibits us from
That's
a
what I
lot
mean.
of. We're pretty darn efficient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
You've
so-
seen that.
you have to be very efficient.
That's taught me to be very efficient.
Where
I
do
had
you-
to be.
Yeah, where do
know,
you
but
see the biggest opportunities for dealers in the next 5 years?
fixed operations, used
Okay.
car business?
Bingo.
And that's where I was going with this.
I mean, the new car business is. We know the
Yep.
cycle that we're in.
That's right.
So used car operations, fixed operations.
So when you look at fixed, and there's only so much you can do. You've got to become more efficient, right?
Right.
What's a store like you do in that
Well,
situation?
that's funny you asked that because I was just at the Ford booth.
Yep.
So, and now think about this. Now they're coming out with mobile service. Now I think it's a great idea, and I heard some other dealers say, "Oh, that would never work." Now, if I could offer somebody service that they don't have to leave their house, everybody wants
Absolutely.
convenience. This is the
There's
thing.
Brian Benstock, how
This
that's
is
working.
100 right. Yeah, he's a great example.
No doubt.
Have you seen the numbers?
I've seen his number. I haven't seen my own numbers yet. So
Okay.
that he's ahead of the curve.
Have
He's
you
a leader.
seen the numbers, per transaction?
I would pay more for if someone came to my house.
Like,
I do pay more
it's
for
over double.
great service.
G.I. Joe
It's
will
almost
come
3
through grip
times.
strong.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
And he's in the same boat. If you're in a metro New York area, you don't have space. You got to be creative.
Correct.
You got to find new ways to do business.
He has had situations where he has had he's so landlocked and limited on what he can do, and they sell so many cars that he's had his service line go so long that literally the police have been out there writing tickets to his customers, and of
Right.
course
And
he
that's-
has to
and he's
follow.
paying-
He has
paying
to
them.
follow and grab them and say, "We'll take
Pay
care of
them
it.
off,
We'll
we'll
take."
pay them off.
And he has to solve the problem.
Yeah,
And he is.
That's
so
right.
that's what we do. We solve problems.
yeah.
100%.
We solve problems.
So
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: what are you doing besides mobile, which I think is a tremendous
I'm
piece?
saying it's a great idea. He asked me what we can do.
Okay.
So that is
I think that is a
an
direction you need to.
opportunity that we can better ourselves.
Do you run one shift in your shop right now?
I do.
You run one shift in
Yeah,
your shop, so
one
that,
shift.
that always becomes a potential solution for dealers.
It is.
That second
And
shift.
but then the challenge is, there's not enough technicians.
always.
So it's supply and
question.
demand.
Yeah.
There's a lot of challenges. I think
It's the chicken
this
and the egg,
industry.
right? You're like, what am I
Yeah.
doing first? Am I going to make
Right.
that huge investment, and then the technicians are going to want to come anyway because I've got
Yeah.
the equipment,
that's
I've got
exactly
the
where I'm
infrastructure
at,
set up.
you know?
It's how do you make that decision? It's hard.
I don't know. I don't know the right answer for it.
Yeah.
I just keep working at it. I got to
Well, you
solve
go-
a problem. I got to solve my problems.
100%. You go back to what something you said before that struck me was that decisiveness is key for you.
Sure.
Making a decision and going.
Yeah, oh,
and course
You're
correcting
right.
as
You're
you go.
100% right. Yeah.
You adjust
The
as you go.
big decisions sometimes. Okay, this is impactful to a lot of
Yeah.
people. So there's some decisions you have to. Okay, I'm gonna think this through and
Yeah.
make sure I make the right one.
And I like that you look outside the business too, which is something you talk
I
about
like
all the
that no
time.
matter what we ask him, he owns the responsibility. So
Absolutely.
you don't sit there and say, well, you're like, hey, I got problems, I got to solve it. You just own it and move on.
When I find myself there, I'm just not a happy person.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a miserable person when I start making excuses and blaming, and we've all done it. We've all been in that mind
No
frame at certain
It's a
points.
full-time job, right?
It's
That's
just
a full-time job.
It's miserable to me.
But
So
that's
I'd rather just
And that's
I gotta take
100% why. Because when we went there, we talked about differentiating, and that's what it all started with, differentiating, and it all started about making more money and selling more in a commodity type world. And you cannot defeat being marginalized or commoditized if you don't have the right mindset that says, I'm not a commodity.
Absolutely.
It has, and that's why you win. We can talk about all this other crap, but that is the
think
number
some
one
of it-
reason you win.
Yeah, you're going to be creative and find other ways that maybe weren't traditional.
Yeah.
Well, I like the fact that you also challenge your team to do the same
Yeah.
thing. Like,
Yeah, we can't just sit here. Oh, things
Well, he
have
doesn't
changed.
believe he's a
Woe
commodity.
is me.
There's no
So,
way he's going to
no.
allow his team to.
Right.
And
No.
so that's what
We just gotta
happens.
figure
And then
it
all
out.
of a sudden his team starts buying into
This is
we're
our
not
problem. Let's
we're
figure it
not a
out.
commodity. We can do this, and then they win it, and it just keeps.
it snowballs.
Yeah.
There's no question.
We're
But it
gonna
has to
figure
start
out.
with the mindset.
We're going to figure it out.
So, all right. Hey, thank you for tuning in. We'll come
Thank
back
you.
at you soon.
All right.
All right.